The European Parliament has voted that Brexit talks should not move to the next stage as there has been no sufficient progress. MEPs in Strasbourg backed a motion by 557 votes to 92 that said negotiations should not be allowed to progress unless there is a major breakthrough. European Union leaders say they will not accede to Britain's request for discussions on a post-Brexit free trade relationship until sufficient progress is made on key issues affecting the withdrawal of Britain in March 2019. A further round of negotiations are due to be held in Brussels next week. Earlier, the EU's chief Brexit negotiator told the European Parliament that the remaining 27 EU member states will not be expected to pay for Britain's exit from the bloc. Updating MEPs on the EU's negotiations with the UK, Michel Barnier said the taxpayers of the 27 will not have to pay for a decision they did not take. No more, no less, he said, to a round of applause from parliamentarians. On Northern Ireland, he said solutions will have to respect the integrity surrounding the legal order of the EU and the Good Friday Agreement. He noted that the common travel area will require detailed work, which he said both the EU and the UK are committed to. Guy Verhofstadt, who is the European Parliament's Brexit negotiator, told MEPs that he visited Northern Ireland for the first time recently, and it struck him that the problems are not over, and despite peace, tensions remain. There are fences 12 meters high, and this is in the 21st century, he said. The leader of the Alliance of Liberals and Democrats stressed the importance of the Good Friday Agreement for Northern Ireland, saying that if a border returns, violence will return. Ulster Unionist MEP Jim Nicholson described the European Parliament resolution on Brexit negotiations which is being debated in Strasbourg this morning as biased. Mr. Nicholson accused Mr. Verhofstadt of taking sides by calling for an international border between Northern Ireland and the rest of the UK. He said Brexit could not be used as an excuse to break up the UK. We joined as one country and will leave as one United Kingdom, he told MEPs. Fine Gael MEP Mairead McGuinness said that progress has to be made in the Brexit negotiations. During this morning's plenary debate, she questioned what would replace the single market and customs union if they were removed. We need the UK to remain in the single market and customs unit, she said. The Parliament's vice president said she would not allow Ireland to return to the borders of the past. Independent MEP Marian Harkin described today's debate as positive. However, she said Northern Ireland representatives must be clear whether they want a hardening of the border or whether they accept a unique solution for Northern Ireland, which she said would avoid hardening the border, maintain the common travel area and the Good Friday Agreement. Independent MEP Luke Mang Flanagan compared the negotiations to dating, saying if you want it to succeed there are things you do not say. He told EU leaders to put their egos away, make it work and stop insulting the people with whom they need to work. Britain had hoped to have advanced enough for EU leaders to greenlight trade discussions this month. European Commission President Jean-Claude Juncker has already said it would take miracles for trade talks to begin before the end of October. A fifth round of Brexit negotiations is expected to begin on 9 October, but Mr. Juncker's comments suggest a breakthrough is unlikely before the Council summit on 18 October. Council President Donald Tusk and Mr. Barnier have also said the UK needs to do before negotiations can move on. The motion voted on MEP said it is vital that commitments British Prime Minister Theresa May made in her recent speech in Florence translate into tangible changes to the UK's position and concrete proposals. The text, tabled by Mr. Verhofstadt, stressed that Britain must obey EU rules including free movement and European Court of Justice judgments during the transition period of around 2 years proposed by Mrs. May. It takes note of her offer to pay into EU coffers during the transition, but bemoans the absence of clear proposals and sets out further financial obligations. The resolution acknowledges Mrs. May's olive branch on EU citizens' rights of promise to write them into UK law, but stresses the ECJ must remain the sole and competent authority for enforcing the withdrawal agreement. The British government was also accused in the motion of attempting to predetermine trade talks by committing not to introduce any new physical checks on the Irish border, as it presumes either the UK or Northern Ireland will remain in the single market and customs union.